All right, team, you are here. We're going to learn resistance and support. So, resistance is basically a level where the market hits and typically will move down. Support is where the market will hit and typically move up. Now, you'll see this in a sideways movement, just like if there's consolidation in range, or if you're looking for a trade setup. The way I'm going to teach you, this will be a method that you may use. So, resistance and supply is basically when you want to sell, okay, because you have the supply. So usually every time, well, let's do this. The market will move like this and not perfect. It's sometimes going to look like this. It's going to look ugly. But for the most part, where I'm going with this is that it will move within this area, within the resistance and the support, okay? And some people trade this, some people don't. It's totally up to you on what you want to do. But if you are going to trade it or consider trading it, the areas that you would look for sells would be at the resistance, and you're going to use what we teach in the price action section, um, excuse me, to help. Oh, wait. All right. And then here, sorry, I'm trying to change the colors, is where you would essentially buy. That's how it's usually taught, is that you sell obviously when it's high and you buy when it's low. It's kind of the same concept with the retest that we were talking about in our previous lesson. So what you're looking for when the market's moving sideways is eventually the market is going to have to come out either to the upside or the downside. Okay, and I'm just going to do the downside because it's easier. It will come down, retest, or pull back to this previous structure, which is typically a confirmation that it may be creating a lower low, like we just discussed in the previous lesson, and then it will continue its momentum. Sometimes there are fake outs. Sometimes the market, instead of it going down, it'll come back up here and then do the opposite. Okay. And unfortunately, there's no like way to guarantee and know what's going to happen. But when you practice enough and you study enough and you understand the candles, you'll be able to avoid a lot more manipulations. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify resistance and support, and we're going to identify when it broke out and created a new trend. And this is also something I want you to practice. You're more than welcome, again, to do a markup and post it in the group. Just please don't send too many. I would say like 2 max. And remember, to send us a screenshot, you're going to click the camera button and it'll give you a link, and that's what you're going to include. And make sure you include what it is, your question or whatever it is you're looking for. You don't have to do this, but if you need help, our team is here. So as you can see, the market was in a downtrend here, right? And then it was unable to create a lower low. It did create a higher low, but it did not create a higher high. So what we're seeing is that the market basically started to move sideways. So we have our resistance and then we have our support, okay? And again, this is where what I'd say, when you get confirmation, you would sell here to the bottom, buy here to the top, sell to the bottom, buy to the top. And you can see where it took some time here, but then went to the top. What you have to do and be careful with is it's not going to always be this perfect. Eventually, it's going to have to break out. So if you're up here and you're trying to sell to the bottom, you may lose your trade depending on how many pips you're trying to win or what your goal is. So at this point, this did exactly as I just taught you. So you can see where it's down, up, down, up, down, up, and then it's just crazy. And it finally broke out of this area and it retested and landed on top, which is typically an indication of a continuation or a reversal, a change in the trend. Well, that's exactly what happened here, giving us the indication that it is no longer moving sideways. There's enough volume in the market to push it up for buys. Remember, we buy when we're up. And you're going to do the same thing that you learned in the previous lesson. You're going to look for previous areas of market structure to be broken and retested so that you can get in the trade, okay? But that's exactly what's happening here. And I'm just quickly doing this. I know I'm talking about support and resistance, but I love to be able to have these visuals. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so you can see where it moves sideways from April 6th to basically May, June, okay? And obviously if you're trading a smaller time frame, you may see more movements, but where I'm going with this is it took for it to break out and land on top to confirm that it was no longer going to push down, it was going to go up. So your homework is to locate areas of consolidation where it's moving sideways and show me support and resistance, okay? And make sure you label it. You don't have to put these arrows, there's no need for you to do that, but you want to make sure you can identify the sideways movement. If you want to take it up a notch, the next thing you're going to do is show us where it broke out and retested, and let us know what direction it went in. Did it go up? Did it go down? And where is that breakout in that retest? Okay, that pullback, either at the resistance area or the support area that basically stopped the consolidation and began a new trend. So we had one going up. Let's see if we can find one going down. All right, here we go. So we can see here where the market is not really creating higher highs, higher lows. It's kind of just moving a little sideways. So there's going to be some slippage. It's not going to be perfect. All right, let me see if I can do that. I'm sure I probably could have found a better example, but we can see where it's moving a little sideways. And this is actually a very profitable pattern as well, which we'll talk about that more in our group. But you can see where it just moved sideways. And what did it do? It finally broke out. It came back and retested or pulled back to previous structure to then create a nice impulse down. And you can see where it created a, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and it changed trend. So I want you to go ahead and work on this now. Well, next, excuse me. Have a good day.